right. Okay, we're live. Good. Let me fix my camera real quick. All right, thanks for coming out, everybody. All right, Saturday morning. Man, there's a big Trump rally going on in Georgia today, and I got all my juices flowing. I mean, all kinds of stuff going on. Let's just dive right in. I've got a little script to follow this time to make sure I don't ramble too much. Okay. So this Georgia rally today is big because there are a lot of things that are going to be much clearer once this rally is over. Um, Trump is, and this won't be the only rally Trump does in Georgia. As a matter of fact, you're going to see him do rallies in multiple states in the coming weeks. And let me just make sure. Can everybody hear me? Let's make sure my microphone is working here. It's working, isn't it? Sure it is. Of course it is. Okay. Fine. Okay. So there's been a lot of controversy the last 2 weeks. Let me start by saying I have the highest respect for Ali Alexander. That guy has busted his ass for the past couple of weeks, okay, getting these rallies going. Okay, I just have one mild criticism of him. One mild not five, not six, one mild criticism, okay? He's not a good strategist. He's a very good zealot. He's very zealous. He's burning with zeal. Just follow that guy's Twitter account. Zeal drips off of it, okay? And the problem with being a zealot is that, zealots are full of fire, and so the fire kind of rages out of control every now and then. And a true zealot, he will threaten to burn everything down a couple times a week. That's what they do. And you may have noticed that Ali has been threatening to burn everything down for the past couple of weeks, and that's just his zeal carrying him away. And so wiser, cooler heads have had to kind of speak out over the last couple of weeks. Wiser, cooler heads like, President Donald Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Roger Stone, and appear to whoa, Ali, cool your jets, buddy, okay? Just, because Ali's been going around saying, unless he gets A, B, C, and D, unless he gets everything he's demanding, he's going to tell all the Stop the Steal people to stay home on January 5th. And apparently, he didn't run that strategy by President Donald Trump or Donald Trump Jr. or Roger Stone before he began talking about it, before he began encouraging it and spreading this idea, And so, and Lin Wood is doing the same thing. Yes, Lin Wood's doing the same thing. Yes, but I think Ali was the first one that birthed this strategy. Okay, and so the thing about zealots is their zeal carries them away, and they start threatening to burn everything down. And so today, that's why I'm so happy this rally is happening, because this is where Trump reminds people who leads the MAGA movement and who sets the strategy for the MAGA movement. And, I want to be clear about this, as valuable as the contributions are that Ali is making to the MAGA movement, and certainly as valuable as the contributions Lin Wood is making to the MAGA movement, Trump is the leader of the MAGA movement. Okay, Trump is the guy. And he needs that second term, and he needs to have power in that second term. We look back at the past 4 years, even with Paul Ryan and the GOP wing in those first 2 years, doing everything they could to thwart Trump. Look at all the stuff he got done in those first 2 years. Okay, but then we lost the House, we lost the House. Ryan and all those other rhinos, they left. And the House flipped to the Democrats. And so But look at what Trump accomplished in the second 2 years of his first term. Look what he accomplished. That's with the Democrats trying to impeach him, trying to get him tossed out of office, thwarting everything he was trying to do. Okay, but he had the Senate. He had the Senate. He still got 2 more justices confirmed. He still got a lot done. Okay, he's got 3 justices on the Supreme Court. All right, so I just want to be clear about this. If you listen to the zealots, and I'll point this out. There are opportunists out there, and there are grifters, and there are even Democratic operatives out there doing everything they can to convince everybody to stay home on January 1st and don't go vote for Loeffler and Perdue. Okay, it's time to hand the power of the Senate to the Democrats and let them spend 2 years making Trump a lame duck. So this is the strategy, and there's a lot of people out there that are pushing this strategy at the MAGA people. They're pushing the strategy. It's time to teach the GOP a lesson. It's time to destroy the GOP. It's time to burn it down. Okay, and so what they're basically telling you is it's time to turn Donald Trump into a lame duck. It's time to take Trump's power away. It's to, and people have this fantasy that, sure, okay, we hand the Senate to the Democrats, but it's only for 2 years. It's only for 2 years. In 2022, we launched a huge comeback, you see, after we teach the GOP a lesson. You're dreaming. There will be no big comeback for Trump or anybody else if we don't hold the line right now. So quit dreaming, okay? So Trump's Georgia rally is going to expose the zealots, some of whom, like I said, are very hopeful. They're on our side. They're just not very good election strategists, and grifters trying to seize control of the MAGA movement for their own ends. Today, President Trump will leave no doubt whatsoever, with all of MAGA watching. You know how many millions of people are going to be watching this rally? It's going to be a lot, with millions of MAGA watching. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks of the stay at home on November 5th strategy. Yeah. He's going to tell you what he thinks about that strategy. And hey, he's a blunt guy. He's not going to mince any words. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks of the stay-at-home on January 5th strategy and the people pushing the stay-at-home on January 5th strategy. You see, zealots are very, very good at keeping people angry and outraged and in the streets. And hey, that's great. I'm not knocking that at all. We should be angry. We should be outraged. I mean, we're blatantly watching Democrats and some people in the GOP trying to manage the stealing of a national election. We should be outraged. But you can't abandon your strategy and your outrage. You can't do that. So Ali is very good at keeping people angry, and Lin Wood too. Angry, outraged in the streets. But they need to leave the election strategy for Trump's second term to other people. Okay, and so that's one thing that Trump is going to be doing at this rally today. He's gonna have nothing but accolades and gratitude for Ali and Lin Wood for getting those bodies moving, for getting those people out there, for getting them engaged, getting them involved. But he's not going to spare any words for this idea about kneecapping him during his second term. about making it so he can't get anything done. You know, if you think Trump's going to accomplish anything with the Democrats in control of both the House and the Senate, then that second term he'll be able to get anything done. You know, he'll get new Supreme Court justices. No, he won't. He'll get legislation passed. No, he won't. With the Democrats in control, nothing's going to happen. Look, it was just the limited power that they had. What did Nancy Pelosi finally admit she's been doing for the last 6 months? What did she admit yesterday? She came out with that cute little mask on, and she bragged about how she's the one that's been holding up the COVID relief bill for 6 months. After all her media, corporate media psychopaths out there covered for her bony ass for 6 months, she just came right out yesterday and bragged about how she's been holding up the COVID relief bill for 6 months because McConnell and the GOP and the Senate won't give in to her list of absurd demands. She wants bailouts for the blue states. This has nothing to do with a COVID relief bill. This has nothing to do with the CCP virus. She just wants a massive bailout for blue state governors that completely mismanage their states. And so they want a federal bailout. Now, taxpayers in Texas and all these other states need to bail out people in Illinois and California because they completely effed up their budgets. And they don't have any money. And so while people were really hurting and businesses were going under, she's sitting there with her 2 freezers full of ice cream, giggling her bony ass off. And the media covered for it. And then yesterday, she arrogantly comes out and just admits that is what she did. That's what she did. So what do you think Democrats are going to do if zealots end up leading misguided people into handing Democrats not only control of the House, but control of the Senate? What do you think is going to happen? You see, we have a segment here in the I don't know if I can really call them MAGA. I don't know if I can really call them part of the conservative movement. All they want to do is sit around. I counter these people on social media all the time, constantly. All they do is they run around and they bitch and they whine and they moan and they complain that everybody else hasn't given up like they have. Why haven't you given up yet? Why haven't you stopped fighting? It's over. You know, all they do is they sit around and they bitch and they moan and they whine and they cry. All day long, because they show up in my timeline. You know, and they want to talk about how, oh God, it's so terrible. Trump left Ray there, Trump left Barr there, Trump did everything. It's all over. He's not doing anything right. He screwed it all up. It's all over. Okay, look. Never give up on the country. If you gave up already, then you're following the wrong guy. I don't ever give up. Okay, so Trump is going to remind people, okay, that he is the guy that's in charge of strategy for MAGA, all right? And he is not giving up, and he's going to continue fighting, and he's going to win this fight. Okay, now, we all know about the Georgia video that came out. The Trump legal team dropped that in the hearing in front of the Georgia state legislators. They dropped a video that was explosive. You had a whole room go silent. Oh, and then you had that Democratic state lawmaker, her voice actually rises like 4 octaves or something during this rant, where she keeps calling that video debunked. Nobody had seen it before, before they played it there. It wasn't public, and she was screaming how it's already been debunked. Okay, that video was a game changer. The governor of Georgia, who just spent weeks saying, there's nothing wrong with our election, everything's fine, there's no fraud. You people are just imagining things. We had a fantastic election. I don't know what you people are complaining about. All of a sudden, the Trump legal team drops that video at that hearing, and Governor Kemp is changing his tune. And he's saying, well, now, okay, we need a state audit. We need an audit of those ballots and the ballot signatures. Okay, yeah, he changed his tune real fast. So uh, that video is such a game changer. The Democrats and the corporate media, never Trump in D.C., are all desperately trying to spin it, but it's not going to work. The video shows what it shows. They tell all the ballot counters and the media, who were grouped away in a corner of the room, they couldn't even see anything anyway. Okay, grouped up there in the corner. They tell them all to leave, and the pipe burst story came out. Remember, they started like, oh, we sent everybody home because of, at 10:30 that night, we sent all the ballot counters home, and no more ballots were being counted. They told, you can find the tweet on Twitter. I don't think I remembered to include it, but it's there. And they already went out and found that ABC News, the Fulton County election person came out and told the ABC News, we sent everybody home at 10:30. And they had this pipe bursting story. So they sent all the ballot counter watchers, and they sent the media out of the room. And then the video shows these ladies pulling suitcases out from under the table. Let me play that video for you right now. I'm
here as a volunteer. I am a lawyer, but I'm not acting as a lawyer in this case. I'm just helping out the legal team here. And going to explain to you the evidence that we have from State Farm Arena here in Fulton County, which goes to what Ray was talking about in terms of fraud or misrepresentation. So
I'm not going to play the whole thing, just the start of it, because the actual video itself is 12 minutes long.
So it's going to be tough because I'm going to have to depart from the microphone and point out some things at times. You're looking at one big room here. This is where, according to our witnesses, who's given us sworn affidavits, this is where the absentee ballots and military ballots are being tabulated on election day. So we have the tape from first thing in the morning all the way past the close of the polls. What you have is essentially two Republican field organizers who were sent here to be observers. At no time were they actually permitted to observe in a meaningful way. I'm sorry, I have a voice issue today. They are roped off with the press on the side. See if I can show you. Keep your eyes right here.
Okay, I want to play the part to where, I'm not sure what point in this video to get to the point where they physically pull the ballots and the suitcases full of ballots out from under the table. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Skipping ahead again, okay. Right about here is the part where the four people are going to enter the room. Yeah, okay. My brother's telling me that he could hear the video. I can't hear it. So I muted it. Okay, they reached the point where they're telling everybody to clear out. They're telling everybody to get out of the room. That the ballot counting is over. It's all over. Everybody go home. Okay, I want to draw your attention to this part right here. This person putting a tablecloth in the upper right corner, putting a tablecloth over that table. Putting a cloth over things there. It's like saying, okay, we're shut down for the night. We're shutting down. Okay, skip around a little bit. Okay, this is where they come back in. Okay, don't want too much dead time here. Okay, moving up a little more. So it's going to be a couple more minutes. Okay, here we go. I found the part. Okay, right here, it's at about 9 minutes. They run over. Watch how fast this lady moves. She's going to physically sprint to that table to pull those suitcases out from under there. Okay, there are multiple suitcases. And they're going to start counting them. And of course, this is the same time that like a 24,000 vote spike for Biden showed up. And this was all on video. And people, the Democrats obviously were not putting their best and their brightest in charge of this. Nobody thought to ascertain whether or not the venue cameras, this is like, I think it's called State Vote Farm Arena. Nobody bothered to ascertain whether the CCTV cameras were operating and they're capturing everything, and in fact, they were. And so all of this is on video. They sent all the observers home. They clear out the media. They tell everybody that the ballot counting is over for the night, 10:30 p.m. And then as soon as they know the coast is clear, they sprint to this table. They pull the suitcases out from under the table, and they start counting them. Okay, yeah, so I'm sorry that took so long. I just want you to see the video for yourself. So that's what they're doing there. They are counting the ballots that they had stored under that table, actually hidden under that table. So they pulled them out and they started counting them, right? And I want you to focus on this. Trump is going to play that video at his rally today. And I want you to understand that, okay? Millions who haven't seen it yet. We need to remind ourselves of this every now and then. Because I know a lot of you that are watching on this channel, and a lot of you that follow Brian Cates on Twitter, at his old account, maybe his new one. Okay. And your social media people, you're on social media a lot. Well, there are millions of Americans that are not on social media. They don't spend all the time following politics. They don't spend all the time on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or whatever. And but they're going to watch this rally that Trump is having today. They're going to watch that. And this will be the first time that they see this video. And Trump's going to explain what's happening on that video and what it means. So how many Georgia, not just Georgia election laws, how many federal election laws were broken by these people in doing these things on this video? I mean, federal election laws, state election laws say that votes have to be counted with observers present, and that obviously is not happening here. And so there are millions of people out there that will watch Trump's rally in Georgia today. They don't spend any time on social media. And they may have heard about the video in the corporate media or seen some brief clip of it with a propagandist explaining to them how this video was already been debunked. It's already been debunked. Or show you just a brief clip and explain to you, no, this has already been debunked, okay? Okay, yeah, oh yeah, well, you know, all they did, all these people running out there and just went to debunked, they go to the same fact-checking site. You know, if those fact-checkers did, they just asked the people involved, hey, did you commit massive federal election fraud? And the person said, why, no, I didn't. I'm shocked. You would even ask me this question. Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't break any law. And then the propagandist goes, good enough for me, case closed. Well, I'm not sure that's how investigative reporting and fact-checking works. Not sure that it works like that. See, investigative reporting and fact-checking does not consist solely of asking those accused of having committed a serious crime if they did it, you know. And then letting them deny it, and then you go, oh, fine. Then you close up shop and you move on. Okay, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. But we have a corporate media that's basically a propaganda arm for a particular political party, and that's how they want it to work. They would like for it to work that way, but it doesn't work that way. Okay. So it's going to be a serious investigation of this, and it's not going to be done by some goddamn media fact checker, you know, or an NPR or whatever. That's not who the real investigation is going to be done by. It's not going to be done by the corporate media propaganda. It's just looking for a way to make this disappear. All right? And Trump's going to make sure it doesn't disappear. You watch what he does today. Okay. Now, one of the things I noticed yesterday is immediately after this fact-checking site came out and said this has been debunked, we asked the people involved if there were any boat fraud shenanigans, and they denied it. So, of course, this whole story is fake. Okay, Never Trump conservatives immediately began parroting that. They started, oh, yes, look, this has been debunked. The same usual Never Trump guys. I've got a link here from Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades is a great blog. I highly recommend it. I read it every day. And so Ace was talking about this at his blog, how the video shows 4 suitcases hidden under a table, only being brought out for counting once Republican observers have been removed from the room. Okay, and... oh, yeah, I still play it right here. Look at that lady spell. Look how fast. I can't get over how fast that lady moves. She runs over there. Yeah, get them out. She's been waiting for that moment, you know, where they get to do this.
The black one was placed there.
Kind of thinking, all I need to do is play this for you guys. I should have remembered that David had the highlight video clip. It's only 52 seconds long.
Under the pretense that we're going to stop counting.
Okay, so there they are, running around doing their vote counting shenanigans, of course. And Eric Erickson, I don't know if you know who Eric Erickson was. He used to be a red state guy. He used to be the token pet conservative on a lot of these media channels. They used to bring him out to be the token conservative opposition, you know, for a panel group, you know, for 2 or 3 liberals, and then Eric Erickson being the fat-faced nice conservative on the panel. And so Eric is here. I like the way Ace described this. Eric Erickson. He decided that asking the accused criminal if he's guilty of the crime constitutes a full and probing investigation. Yeah, that's fact check. Leadstories.com. That's the website everybody's going to saying, look, man, debunked. Okay, it's debunked. Stop talking about it already. Stop talking about the ballots in the hidden suitcases video. It's been debunked. It's bullshit. It hasn't been debunked. Okay. But it's no surprise that the same GOP never Trump losers, as soon as they hear what the corporate media talking point is, they immediately start parroting it. Like parrots. Okay. Now I want to explain something about people like Eric Erickson and Will Chamberlain and some of these other guys that say, I think they're on our side and everything's cool and they're fighting hard for the country, but they just can't wait to get rid of Trump. They can't wait for the post-Trump era to begin. I subscribe to the American Spectator, and there's some good people that write there. But about half the staff, I've seen a bunch of writers there write columns about what they hope and pray the post-Trump era will look like and when it will start. I can't wait for it to start. And so what you need to remember or realize about these people is they built their brands. They had an established brand before Trump ever showed up. In 2015, running for president, they had a brand, they had a place, they had their own little niche, obviously that. They had their own little corner of the universe where they were making good money, and they got their faces on TV, and they were established, they had made it, okay? And they made it, they have built their brands on being impotent whiners. Yeah. All they did was whine about Democrats. That's what they were good at. Oh my God, look at what the Democrats are doing now. Oh my God, it's so horrible, it's terrible, it's rotten, it's no good. Oh my God, somebody stop him, please stop him. I can't wait till Trump goes, man. I can't wait till Trump goes. Everything goes back to normal, everything goes back like it was before. Okay, you gotta understand, in their minds, both those things are not opposite to each other. Because that's how they built their brand. They built their brand by impotently whining about the leftists in their inexorable march through America's institutions. They didn't actually come up with any strategy or any way to fight like a dog to stop that march through our American institutions. No, they made their money by impotently whining about it. And that's why they hate Trump. People like Eric Erickson and Will Chamberlain and some of these guys, they can't stand him because he exposed them. He showed everybody how you fight these people. He showed everybody how you stop the left's long march through the institutions. A march that's now being funded by places like the CCP in Beijing. He showed everybody how you stop it, okay? And so all these people that built their brand, they found their own comfortable little quarter, or their own comfortable little corner of the Washington, D.C. establishment, being the token opposition, being the impotent whiners about this. They want to go back to that. Of course they do. Of course they want to go back to that. That's how they made their money. So they spent years telling everybody, hey, guys, how do this is not the hill to die on, okay? Forget about this election fraud. I mean, you had to say what Will Chamberlain and some of these other guys say. Yeah, sure, okay, they stole it, but come on, man. This is not the hill to die on, God damn it. So Trump should just accept his loss in the stolen election and let the country move on. Okay, that's the siren song of the GOP establishment. Hey, yeah, Trump didn't get things for us, okay? And sure, they stole the election from him, but come on, man, it's over. It's time for him to move on. It's time for us to go back doing what we are comfortable doing. See, they're not wartime people. They never really want to fight the people in the DC establishment. They are part of the DC establishment. They create greater acceptance within the DC swamp establishment. And they're not going to get it as long as Trump is destroying that establishment and taking its power away. Okay, so yes, they want everything to go back to the way it was before. So they say, yes, this is not the hill to die on. Trump to just accept his loss in that stolen election and let us all move on and go back to what we're comfortable doing. Like I said, if the Democrats get away with this election fraud, there will be no GOP comeback, led by Trump or by anybody else in the future. This is it. This is the hill to die on, right here. And one thing that we can thank Trump for, again, is that he is exposing these people. He's forcing them to expose who they are at their heart. He's showing us who they are. Because once again, they're doing what they always do. This is not the hill to die on. This isn't the fight we should be making. We're pursuing the wrong strategy here. Okay, look, this was a massive crime committed against the entire country. Even Democrats out there that voted honestly, they see the issue here. They see the problem. Many of them do. Every single fraudulent vote disenfranchised a legal vote. Okay? That's why federal election fraud is such a serious crime. Every fake illegal vote nullifies a real vote cast by an honest, legal voter. It nullifies it. And we're not talking about 25 votes here, 100 votes there. This was hundreds of thousands of fraudulent votes and tabulation crimes in multiple states, and it was organized. A serious crime of this magnitude cannot be given a pass by any real American that cares about this country. And so what are these never-Trumpers showing you? What are these GOP establishment people showing you? They don't care about the country. They don't care about our democratic system. They care about maintaining their position, and that's all they care about. So a crime of this magnitude cannot be given a pass. It cannot be overlooked. We have to challenge it. We must challenge it. We will challenge it to the utmost, to the end. There can never be any surrender or compromise with this. Never. And this is, I bet today you're going to see Trump make that point. You cannot compromise with this kind of crime. You cannot allow it to pass without doing everything in your power to overturn it. Now, we had another week of legal wrangling. More legal wrangling went on in the court. Some good, most of it bad. Well, yes. I'm not worried. Let me explain why. Democrats own the state level election offices and the state courts in these contested states. Democrats and the foreign people involved in interfering in our elections, they own the state level systems in Georgia. They own it in Michigan and Wisconsin. They own it in Pennsylvania. They own it in Arizona and Nevada. They do. They own it. So That's why I've been saying for several weeks now, it was always going to be heavy sledding at the state level. Anybody that said any differently didn't understand the situation. It was always going to be rough going at the early stages of this, or the first phase, or at the state level, okay? Because Democrats are in control there. Of course they're going to say, fraud? What fraud? What fraud? What's this fraud you're talking about? You're just making that up. There's no fraud. Come on. You know, and of course they're going to say that. No matter what evidence you show them, you know. They're going to say, there's no fraud here. What are you talking about? So it's actually a positive that the Democrat-controlled state courts are so quickly dismissing these election fraud lawsuits by the Trump legal team and others, instead of sitting on them for weeks before ruling to dismiss. That's a positive. Rudy's talked about this. Jenna Ellis has talked about this. I believe Sidney Powell's mentioned it too. It's a positive thing. They're not, these liberal judges at the state courts in Georgia and Pennsylvania saying, well, they're not telling themselves, well, I'll just sit on this lawsuit for 3 weeks before I just do what I intend to do all along and dismiss it. It's actually a positive thing. They get the lawsuit and it's a day or two they say, I dismiss this. That means they're not sitting on it. That means it can be appealed. It can go to a higher court. And that's what's going to happen. Because I've been saying for a while now that I won't say Trump owns the federal courts, because he doesn't own them any more than he owns the DOJ. He does not own the Supreme Court or the federal appeals courts, but he has put a significant amount of people on those courts, people that he carefully screened and picked himself. Okay, so he doesn't own the federal court system. That's not how it works. We have 3 independent, separate branches of the federal government. We have Congress, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. And so the executive branch does not own the judicial branch. That's not how it works. But the chief executive appoints many of the key members of the judicial branch. So he's put a lot of these federal judges on those federal appeals courts and the Supreme Court where they are today. And he nominated, he got them confirmed, and believe me, he carefully screened these people, and he picked the right judges. He did. Now, I want to make this clear. He didn't pick rabid conservative partisans, openly rabid conservative partisans. He picked fair judges who will take the job seriously and in a non-partisan fashion. Now, it was the Democrats that spent all these years packing the courts. You know, they actually brag about the fact that they are packing the courts with rabid liberal partisans in robes, you know, who will circumvent the laws or just make up law from the bench, which they're not supposed to do. So Democrats loaded the federal courts for decades with rabid partisans. Trump has put 300 plus federal judges into place over the past 4 years to do the job right, in order to return to the rule of law, not the rule of conservative partisanship. No, the rule of law. And that's why he's going to win. Now, whatever happens in the lower federal courts, the Supreme Court has had its rabid partisans neutralized by an Amy Coney Barrett confirmation. We've already seen this paying off, Barrett being on that court. So even Roberts, even if Roberts feels inclined again to join the three liberals in trying to stop the overturning of this massive election fraud, it won't work. Trump now has 5 people on the court who are going to rule according to what the Constitution says. Okay? You look at their track records, okay? You look at the track record of Justice Thomas, Justice Barrett, Justice Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Alito, okay? These guys are not wishy-washy. They are going to, if the Constitution says in the face of massive fraud that they have constitutional remedies to fix this and to address this situation, they are going to invoke those constitutional remedies. That's what they're going to do. That's why they're there. That's why Trump's not worried. Now, of course, they'll have people say, "Oh my God, what if Justice Alito or Justice Gorsuch defects to the other side?" And they'll spend. We have this coming in the next couple of weeks. They'll spend weeks spinning doomsday scenarios to you. What if the left or the Chinese manage to reach Gorsuch? What happens then? It's just gas. It's just speculation. So I hope you can all grasp this now. The Trump legal team had the evidence all along. If they didn't get that suitcases full of bats pulled out from under the table like 10 minutes before they showed it to the Georgia legislatures, that's not what happened. They had it long before that. They didn't leak it, and they didn't talk about it until they were ready to unveil it themselves. And they have other surprises. You can count on that. They have other evidence that they're holding back. But then I know people will say, well, why didn't they do this 3 weeks ago? Why didn't they just roll that video out there? They were setting a trap, okay? That's what's so beautiful about this. I mentioned this on Twitter. Giuliani let them laugh at him and mock. He did the same thing he did with the Ukraine stuff and with the Hunter Biden stuff. He let them mock him, and he lured them in, and then he dropped the evidence on them. He's done this repeatedly, okay? And so they have other evidence that they're waiting to roll out. And when the time's right, they'll roll it out. They're going to do it. They're going to do it their way. You don't have to agree with the strategy. I'm just asking you to understand it. You watched it unfold. They didn't get that video like 10 minutes before they dropped it on those Georgia legislatures and showed the world what actually went on election night. Okay, they had that, and they drew the media, and the media was all there to cover this new hearing and mock them and lampoon them, and then they dropped this on them, and now the media had to deal with it. So Rudy lured them in, then the trap sprang shut behind them. Now they're stuck. Okay, the video's out there, and you're going to see what happens today. Trump played this video for the whole country. Now, Trump said in his speech a few days ago, fixing the rampant election fraud that's been going on in this country will be the greatest thing he'll accomplish as president. Okay, he's not speaking lightly. I don't know if you saw that video. I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to play the video of Trump talking about, hey, you do something about this guy spamming the channel? Yeah, the guy spamming the channel. Do something about that. Yeah. Here is Trump talking about, let me find it. If the sound is working. This is from a Wichter video. Okay. Yeah, I can't hear this, so I assume you will be able to hear it when the video starts playing. I want you to listen to what Trump actually said. And he said that stopping the election fraud is going to be the biggest thing he'll do as president.
So we're not looking to show you 25 faulty or fraudulent votes, which don't mean anything because it doesn't overturn the state, or 50 or 100. We're showing you hundreds of thousands, far more than we need, far more than the margin, far more than the law requires. We can show many times what is necessary to win the state. Many very smart people have congratulated me on all we've done. The biggest tax cuts in history, regulation cuts, the biggest in history. We rebuilt our military. We took care of our vets like never before. Space Force, and so much more. But then they went on to say, as big and as important as these events were, the single greatest achievement in your presidency will be exactly what you're doing right now, voter integrity for our nation. It's more important than any of the things that we discussed. If we don't root out the fraud, the tremendous and horrible fraud that's taken place in our 2020 election, we don't have a country anymore. So with the resolve and support of the American people, we will restore honesty and integrity to our elections, and we will restore trust in our system of government. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay, you heard it from him right there. He said himself that exposing this vote fraud and rooting it out will be the greatest thing he accomplishes in his presidency. Okay, I don't think he's not speaking lightly. He means it. He means what he's saying. Okay, Democrats have been, I think it's going to come out, Democrats have been using compromised election systems software to steal the close ones for a long time, along with their usual ballot harvesting and ballot stuffing tricks, of course. But nobody ever set out to catch them at their highly organized federal election fraud activities until now. And so the close ones, they were able to use a little tricky, a little ballot harvesting here, some fractional vote counting there. You know, look that up, fractional vote counting. That's what they've been doing. That's what they've been using the Dominion system to do. And so it helps them put their thumb on the scale and push down a little bit so they can steal the close ones. Now, as we all know, Trump broke their algorithm, okay? He did 28 rallies in the final 2 weeks. He guy was a human dynamo. And he broke their algorithm. His red wave was so massive that the only way they could stop him was they had to stop counting in the middle of the night, reset the software, and increase the fractional tabulation for Biden. You know, so Biden, they had it set for Biden to get, for every vote for Biden, he got 1.3, and every vote for Trump ended up being 0.97 or whatever. And they figured that would do it. They figured that was enough thumb on the scale. And by around by the time they get to about 10:30 at night, they realize Trump is winning. He's going to win big in some of these states. He's going to win big in Georgia, Pennsylvania. He was up by 700,000. I think he's going to win these states big. So they instantly set out in a panic. They stopped the vote counting. They retabulated the software. And in some of these states, people panicked. I think they panicked in this Georgia arena, and they had a plan B. They had the old tried and true ballot stuffing trick that they were going to resort to, and so that's what they did when they realized Trump was going to win Georgia and they wouldn't be able to stop it. They went to the suitcases of ballots under the table, and they got caught on camera. You know, these were not the best and brightest, apparently. It could be that nobody ever put the time and effort into making sure they were caught on camera this time out, but they weren't. And so they were forced to take extreme special measures, and they weren't able to recalculate or retabulate the software for all the down ballot races. That's why the GOP cleaned up, I think, of 27 House races that were called toss-ups. The GOP won all 27 of them and gained something like 10 or 12 House seats. They may end up with more. Down ballot, the GOP cleaned up, and that's even with the fractional voting. The GOP cleaned up. And so they made it too obvious what they did. Maybe you've seen some of the statistical anomalies out there. Some of the things they did were hysterically obvious. You have counties where they had 200% voter participation. Others had 120%. It's ludicrous, okay? And it's obvious that there was fraud. And so that's what Trump is going to expose. Believe me, he had the resources to get ready for this. Okay, I agree with Thomas Wicker. He talked for months how they were going to steal it. He warned they would steal it. He got the country prepared for them to steal it. And then what happened? They stole it. Okay, and. If you can believe that he limited his preparation for the theft of the election. He limited it to just working real hard to try to win by so much they wouldn't dare try it, But I believe he took steps and he was ready, and he's keeping the whole country focused on this. You'll see this at the rally today. Keeping the whole country focused on it, And I get asked all the time, "Oh, Brian, this won't really matter. The mainstream media is not going to cover it. They're not going to talk about it. Nobody's going to see it." Oh, well, you just watch. Yeah, sure. Okay, he's going to force them to cover it. That's what this guy is good at. This guy is really good at. Oh, I forgot I moved that picture. Never mind. No, it's not there anymore. I was going to show a picture of angry Trump. Okay. This guy is good at making people do what he wants. And that's what he's going to do in the media day. He's going to say things they will not be able to ignore at this rally today. He's going to show that video. He may show new evidence. Who knows what he's going to do, okay? But he's going to bring things out there. He's going to force them to talk about it. Even if it means they're going to have to frantically try to spin it and debunk it. Just like they're trying to debunk the Georgia suitcase video. It's not going to work. People have eyes. They can see. Now, see, it's true. If you're out there and you're a 100% committed Democrat and you're okay with fraud, you have to be at this point. You have to be okay with cheating and lying and defrauding people out of their legitimate votes. If that's what it takes for your socialist and Marxist party to stay in power, then God damn it, so be it. Okay, you're fine with that. All right, but you're a minority. Most of Americans are not like you, okay? And they never will be. So you're going to lose this fight. Trump's going to expose everything they did. The evidence is going to come out. Everybody's going to see the massive fraud. When these lawsuits reach the federal courts, it's not going to go like it did in the state courts, where the state judges wouldn't even look at the evidence. They just dismissed it out of hand. Well, you have no legal standing. Yeah, you had no right to file such a lawsuit before the election, and now that it's after the election, it's too late. So they just dismissed the lawsuit out of hand. Well, that's not how it's going to go when it reaches the federal elections, the federal appeals courts. Let me remind you, everybody, especially all you Democrats out there. Oh, crap. Hold on a second. So I forgot again. See, I cleaned my desktop the other day, and I had all these photos. I had all these screenshots and photos on my desktop, and I forgot there's still, and the XSplit broadcaster I use, there's still linked to the old spot. So I'm going to copy this real quick. Drop it back on the desktop, and then I believe the broadcaster will be able to find it. Okay. No. Okay, hold on a second. I will manually find it. This is the federal election code. If you get caught, if you are a federal election official and you get caught, I want to focus on the underlined parts here. I want to read it for all my Democrat friends out there to show them where this is all going. I want to read it out for you. U.S. Code 20511, criminal penalties. Yes, this is a federal crime. A person, including an election official, who in any election for federal office, I'll skip down to point 2, knowingly or willfully deprive, defraud, or attempt to deprive or defraud the residents of a state of a fair and impartially conducted election process by, point B, the one you want to focus on, the procurement, casting, or tabulation of ballots that are known by the person to be materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent under the laws of the state in which the election is held, shall be fined in accordance with Title 18. Now, Title 18 means it is a fine up to $250,000. And it says that fines will be paid into the general fund of the Treasury. Yeah, okay. And then it continues by saying, or imprisoned not more than 5 years, or both. If you get caught as an election official, say, oh, I'm state, I'm not federal. They can't charge me with a federal crime. All they need is one race for a federal office on that ballot. Just one. Look at what it says. Any election for federal office, all they need on that ballot, and you created a fake ballot, you fraudulently tabulated ballots, and those ballots dealt with election for a federal office. That's federal, baby. Welcome to the big time. They're not dealing with the state DA. You won't be dealing with the state Supreme Court. No, in Georgia or Pennsylvania. No. You're going to be dealing with U.S. attorneys who seat federal grand juries, and your case will be tried in the federal courts. And when you get canned, if you did it, if you fraudulently tabulated votes at a federal election, you will go to federal prison. You will. And so that's where this is headed. A whole lot of people are going to federal prison. Now, everybody's bad-mouthing Barr at this time. But oh, Barr, where's Barr? Barr is AWOL. Barr is not there. Barr is not doing anything. Barr already told you more than enough. He put out a memo 3.5 weeks ago. He's already assigned U.S. attorneys to particular cases in particular states. He's already done it. And he hinted there would be more. And then he zipped his lip. Because remember, this is politics. And the DOJ is nonpartisan. Now, I know people laugh when I say that. The DOJ is nonpartisan. Whoa! Okay, they laugh when I say that. Because, they still think this is Obama's Department of Justice. This is the deep state's Department of Justice. It's still James Comey's Department of Justice. It's never Trump. It's never really been Trump. Doesn't matter who he puts in charge of it. It's still the deep state's Justice Department. Okay. Trump put people in charge of that, just like he put people in charge of the federal courts. Their job isn't to be his own personal attack dogs. That's not their job. Their job is to do their job in a nonpartisan fashion. Okay? And so if you keep expecting William Barr to be Trump's personal attack dog, then you don't understand what his job is, and you don't understand why Trump gave him that job. So, let's deal with this other thing while I'm talking about the DOJ. People are constantly going, "Where's Durham? What's up with Durham?" Barr and Durham are AWOL. They're absent. They're not doing anything. And I'm struck by, I get told by people who are struck by this inescapable logic. If Durham was coming, he'd have come already. So he's not coming. He never will come. He's not doing anything. He never would do anything. Well, he'd have done it by now. Okay? Yes, then I'm told that's a logical argument. Well, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that argument. I don't agree Durham isn't coming. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are not telling you what it really means that Barr finally let the cat out of the bag, that Durham is now a special counsel. Now, there's a letter out there. It was dated October 19th. Where Barr says, "I hereby make it official," and I put it down in writing that U.S. Attorney John Durham is now a special counsel. Okay, and a lot of people think that that's the day, October 19th. All of a sudden, William Barr took out his little magic wand and he waved it over John Durham. He said, "I, presto changeo, you now have the powers of a special counsel's office in your hands." Okay, abracadabra, you're a special counsel. That happened on October 19th. Bullshit. Okay, William Barr had the track record. Let me explain what the track record is with you. You give somebody a job, they go off and do that job quietly. And nobody ever knows at the time. Barr doesn't say shit. Nobody is told anything, nothing leaks. I'm going to give you several examples. I'm not just talking about my ass here, I have examples. In October of 2018, James Baker, former FBI general counsel, was testifying before a congressional committee with his lawyer sitting next to him, very carefully parsing his answers. And one of the congressmen, I believe it was Jim Jordan, it might have been Mark Meadows, they asked James Baker a question. And James Baker starts to answer. And his lawyer breaks in and says, "My client cannot answer that question because that matter is under investigation." Okay, and that matter is under federal investigation. And so Jim Jordan thinks that Jim Baker's lawyer must be referring to the Inspector General investigation by Michael Horowitz, the Department of Justice Inspector General. So he says, "Oh, you mean Horowitz's investigation?" Here's what James Baker's lawyer says. He says, "No, Durham." And he didn't, because his mind's kind of fixated on Horowitz. Jordan goes, "What do you mean Horowitz?" And James Baker's lawyer goes, "No, I mean John Durham, U.S. Attorney for Connecticut." So, what James Baker's lawyer revealed in October of 2018 is that by October of 2018, John Durham was already on the job. I know this because my good friend Jeff Carlson, who goes by The Markets Works on Twitter, wrote a column for the Epoch Times in which the grand jury testimony was given to him, and he revealed it. And that was in January 2019. So, the public story was Barr brought out John Durham in May 2019 and officially right then at that moment handed Spygate, or what I've taken to call the Russellgate investigation. He put Durham in charge of it at that moment. Oh, bullshit. Okay, look, Durham had been on the job for over a year and a half at that point. So you had evidence. Me and Tracy Baines and Jeff Carlson were talking about this for a long time. Even before, after that evidence came out, that Durham was already investigating the Russellgate plotters. He was already tracking down who leaked what and who did what. He was doing that long before May 2019, and when he was officially brought out and christened as the lead investigator for Russellgate. Okay, that happened long before that. Then, and the declassifications that happened later, I can't remember at that time that happened, we learned from text messages that were declassified that FBI agent Peter Strzok and FBI lawyer Lisa Page were talking about having to sit down and have interviews with John Durham. And – 2017. Yeah, I wrote entire columns about this. I hope you read them. So John Durham was on the job an awful long time before anybody in the public learned about it. And nothing leaked. Nobody in Durham's office, nobody in the IG's office, nobody in the entire DOJ leaked that. That Peter Strzok and Lisa Page talked to. Oh, I'm thinking about putting off my interview with Durham. He's trying to find out who leaked. I think I'm going to put off my interview with Durham. Yes, 2017. You go back and look. I'm not making that up. I wrote columns about it. That happened. So, you have Durham on the job long before anybody knows about it. Okay? Then, here's my second example. Jeffrey Jensen, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Missouri. What did he do? Okay. Well, Barr called old Jeffrey over and he said, listen, Jeff, this whole Flynn case, man, is a mess. We know these guys, the FBI, Crossbar Hurricane Team, and the Mueller Special Counsel, they were up to no good. Jeff, I need you to go in there and find out exactly what happened. So, William Barr took his little magic wand and he waved it over Jeffrey Jensen's head. So I hereby dub you my special investigator. Go get him, Tiger. And he did. Oh, and nobody knew at the time. This was early January of 2020 that William Barr was doing this. Yes. And he didn't tell anybody. He didn't say shit. And Jeffrey Jensen went into the office that the Mueller Special Counsel was working out of while it was handling the Flynn case. That was the office they were working out of was the District of Columbia U.S. Attorney's office. So Trump actually appointed one U.S. attorney to go to another U.S. attorney's office and investigate. Yeah. And he did that in early January. And then in about mid-February, I think it was, Barr himself revealed he'd done this. He said, I've appointed Jeffrey Jensen He's already in that office. He's already digging around, seeing what he can find. Of course, and it was like 2 months later, and it was April 24th, I think it was, Jeffrey Jensen suddenly surfaced with the first batch of documents to hand off to Sidney Powell under seal, you know. Sidney saw those documents. I'm sure, well, you know, and those documents blew the case up. They blew the case up. And I've said for many times, it was obvious to me from the moment I saw those documents on April 24th, Durham and Barr and Jensen are not just going after the FBI people that were involved in this and the Crossfire Hurricane team. It's obvious that the Mueller Special Counsel is a target now. It's obvious. Because every single one of those unsealed documents that Jeffrey Jensen handed off to Sidney Powell that blew up the Flynn case, they all bear the official stamp of the Mueller Special Counsel's office. Thanks, Bob. Barr's not a partisan. He's not going to constantly interject himself into politics. He's going to do his damn job. So you found out this week, okay, that John Durham is a new special counsel and he's investigating the previous special counsel. Now, how does everybody spin that on both sides? Oh, that's just Barr being, you know, that's him hedging his bets in case Trump had to leave office. And you have other people say, oh, that's just another part of the cover-up. It's just another part of the cover-up, you know. If I was last refuge, that's the same spell I would give it. You know, if I got embarrassed like that, I've said for months, Barr and Durham weren't doing anything. And then Barr makes it official and puts it in writing that a new special counsel, who happens to be the guy who's been investigating Russiagate since February, on March of 2017, is now a special counsel himself, and the previous special counsel is a target of his investigation. Yeah, if I wanted to save my reputation after all the shit I've been saying for the last 3 years, I'd have to say, well, yeah, okay, that's just a cover-up, and dismiss it. But it ain't a cover-up. Durham is on Bob Mueller's trail. Who was it that told you months ago? And then I'll start taking the questions after this. Let me find that. I know I moved it. Let me find that memo I made about the. Oh, here it is. Okay. That the Mueller team is a target of John Durham. I made this back in April, guys. Back in April. While everybody else was telling me Barr and Durham was, well, I won't say everybody else. Tracy Beans certainly wasn't. A lot of other people weren't. But there were some people out there telling me Durham and Barr are swamp and they're not doing anything. Okay? Now we're setting this up. And I'm telling you, Bob Mueller and Jesse Liu and Andrew Weissman and Brandon Van Grack and Aaron Zelensky and all these other guys are right to be worried. They're right to be worried because they knew the same as I did. Once they saw those documents, they knew where this was going. They knew where this was headed. John Durham's on their trail. Yes, he is. He's on their trail. And he is a bloodhound. He isn't scared of anybody. He's already put FBI agents in prison before. He's done it before. He'll do it again. Now, I will take your questions just for a couple minutes. I've been going on for 81 minutes. I don't want to go for much longer, but I just want to see if anybody had any questions. about anything that we're covering. I know I want to make sure I cover President Trump's rally today. I know it hasn't started yet. There were people in line, already in line last night, with their tents, waiting to get in. And so we have exciting things coming this next week. I mean, look at what's happened in the last week. I'm sure next week is going to be even crazier. But just keep one thing in mind. Trump knew this would happen. He spent months alluding people to the fact that they were going to steal the election. Okay, he may kind of have hoped that they wouldn't steal it. He may have hoped that they wouldn't. They did, okay, and I don't think he just sat around with his thumb up his butt and just hoped it will work out for the best. I don't think he did that. I think Trump is a smart guy. He planned, he took steps, and he caught them at it, and he's doing this in such a way that it forces the entire country to stay involved and engaged in watching what happens. And when they start dropping the bomb, they've already dropped one piece of evidence that's incontrovertible. And they're desperate, the enemies out there, they're desperately trying to spin it. They're desperately trying to make it go away. That's not going to happen. Trump knows what he's doing. He'll do this in such a way they have to cover it and they can't deny it. So, exciting week to look forward to. And I think, like I said, I'll end with this. When you see this rally today, and you see what he says during that rally, okay. Okay. Here's Michael. Michael asked a good question. How long do you think Trump will wait to drop the bomb? Within 2 weeks? Well, okay, look. Here's something that a lot of people don't know. The only constitutional date, the only date in this that's set in the Constitution is the January 20th date. The December 8th date, the December 14th date, those are set down by federal law. Okay, so they're not in the Constitution. So they are amendable if the Supreme Court decides to amend them. So a lot of people have these dates in mind about things that are supposed to happen by. Okay, I'm sure it's December 5th right now, so there's like 8 days. Let's count that, 9 days. I'm not sure if you count today or not. Some people do, some don't. But this is December 14th is the day the electors are supposed to meet. And when that happens, I think by the time that happens, a lot is going to be clear by that time. Trump waited to drop, or the Trump legal team waited to drop that video from the Georgia arena. They waited to drop it. Now you can say, wow, I would have dropped that weeks ago. Okay, sure, okay. But like I always have to remind people is, you don't understand the overall strategy and you don't know what they know. And they have a plan and they have a strategy and they're pursuing it. And part of that strategy involves putting out disinformation to keep the enemy off their tracks. Think of how a jet fighter shoots out chaff when it's trying to throw off incoming missiles. Okay, Trump and his team, they put out a lot of chaff. There are a lot of people out there completely desperate to figure out what they really have and where they're really going, what they're really going to do once they get there so they can sabotage it. And some of those people will surprise you when they're exposed. So people keep wishing Trump would be transparent. They keep wishing Trump's team and the DOJ and all these people would be transparent. And they can't be. I want you to understand that. They cannot be transparent about what they're doing, about what the strategy is. They have to, in some cases, they have to lie. They have to misdirect. They have to. And that's just the way it is. There's no getting around it. You've got my voice is cracking. Sorry. You have a very powerful mainstream media, very powerful Democratic Party, very powerful corporations, very powerful foreign nations. They're all out to get him. You gotta understand this. They're all out to take him down, sabotage him. So, boy, I sure wish Trump would tell all these people what he's gonna do in advance. I don't want Trump to tell them anything. I want Trump to tell them shit. I'll just wait till he does it. Okay? I want him to win. Hell no, I don't want him to show his cards till the game's over. You know, he'll lay his cards down when he's ready. Until then, I'm just gonna enjoy the show. So I want you all to enjoy the show. Enjoy this rally. There will be great things happening. Thank you all for coming out and watching, for making me a part of your Saturday. I really appreciate that. I know you have a lot of things competing for your time and your attention, and I am always extremely gratified that you came out to listen to me ramble for 85 minutes. Okay, God bless you all, and I'll do another stream on Monday. I think I'm planning on another stream on Monday, so I'll send out the link. Thank you all for coming. God bless you, and have a great day.